Hey everyone, this is Sylvie from GoTo Productions, and today we're here to talk about Halo 4. Well, first things first, when can you pick it up? It's available for purchase on November the 6th, 2012, which is kind of odd for a Halo game. Traditionally they're released in Septembers, because a little bit of a history lesson, up until about 2,000 years ago, September used to be the 7th month of the year, and if you guys know, Bungie is a big fan of the number 7 for whatever reason. In fact, the company that they sold it to, the company that's producing Halo 4, is called 343 Industries. And for those of you that don't know, 343 is actually 7 to the power 3. Anyway, moving on from this math and history lesson. Halo 4 is the fourth installment in the main story of a long-running series involving the Master Chief and several alien races, the first of which being the Flood, a series of spore-like virus creatures that only live to infect and consume all other living beings in the galaxy. The Covenant, which isn't strictly speaking an alien race, but rather a coalition of alien slave races that have been conquered over the years. And interestingly enough, they're not even the strongest guys in the galaxy anymore. If you're familiar with the previous Halo games, you probably know what to think when I say Covenant. They were the main antagonists in the previous games, essentially all of them, even the offshoots like Halo Reach and Halo ODST, or Halo 3 ODST if we want to be official. The Covenant is led by a species known as Prophets, who essentially act as religious figureheads for the entire Covenant. Under them are the military leaders. Now they fall into various categories based on their species. It's like a caste system, basically. The highest ranking are the elites, or at least they were up until the events of Halo 2. Under them are the brutes, giant ape-like creatures who are actually fairly terrifying, at least I found so. Under them are, well, it gets a bit tricky about how you want to really classify this, but generally it's accepted that it goes like this. Jackals, who are much like snipers. Drones, which are a series of like bug-like creatures that just fly about and are really, really annoying to try to shoot. And finally you have the lowest of the low, and aptly named, the Grunts. All of these species make up the Covenant, and they were essentially who you were fighting for the entire series, as I've mentioned before. Now, the Flood are really just big walking targets. I mean, yes, some of them fight back, and some of them fight back quite aggressively, but they are not really your enemy. They're everyone's enemy. The AI will actually fight each other if you have one AI from the Flood side, one AI from the Covenant side. This is because the Flood aren't really out to kill you so much as to eat you. I can always compare them to zombies, and really they'll eat whatever is in their way, be that human or any species of the Covenant. So, the Covenant has been essentially the most powerful thing in the galaxy for the entire history of Halo. But now we have this new ancient race, much like the Forerunners, the people that actually built the things like the Halos and the Arcs, coming into the fold. Now, I don't know what this means, but essentially they are the new big bad guy in the galaxy. So what this means for the dynamic of humans versus the Covenant versus the Flood, so far I don't know. But I can't wait to see what happens. I've always really enjoyed the story of Halo. Some people might say that there is no story, but I've always found it to be really good. And I can't wait to see what comes out of this. Now, speaking a bit more about the story, spoiler alert here, so I'm just gonna let everyone that wants to leave. Okay, are they gone? Good. Halo 4 takes place directly after, at least from the Chief's point of view, the end of Halo 3, where he got sent through the portal as the spaceship was cut in half. That's a kind of a terrible explanation, but anyone that's played Halo 3 to the end knows what I'm talking about. Now, if you have finished it in Legendary, you will see the cutscene of him going towards the planet. Now, the story so far is that he's crash landing on that planet, and personally I think it's a Forerunner planet. I can't wait to see what is actually there. But who knows, if there's a new alien race, it might be their planet. Really, I wish I could go further into details, but there aren't many details to be known at this point, which is upsetting. I can't wait for this to come out and see what's gonna happen. So with the story more or less wrapped up, or rather I've said everything that we know about the story so far, let's talk a bit more about the features of the game and what's going to be shipped with it. Uh, let's start with the emblems from the pre-orders. Alright, essentially if you buy a pre-order from various locations, you can buy an emblem for your Spartan in multiplayer. We don't know yet whether this is going to be in single player as well, but most of the customizable aspects from the multiplayer are usually also in the single player. By which I mean you can usually use your multiplayer character in single player so long as you're playing co-op with a friend. Now let's talk about one of the biggest parts of any Halo game, and a big part of any shooter game nowadays, as long as it's not terrible. No offense to any other game. But let's talk about the multiplayer. Now, for many people, this is the first thing they play right out of the box. I know that when I bought Halo Reach about 2 years ago, has it already been that long? It's ridiculous. But when I bought it about 2 years ago, that was the very first thing I did. First thing, straight into multiplayer. Well, I did have a couple of ulterior reasons because my friends didn't buy it yet, so I didn't have anyone to play single player with, and we all said that we would play together. So, either way, it was a very fun experience in multiplayer. But yeah, I don't know about anyone that's listening, but have you ever really needed a reason to, play Capture the Flag, or start killing each other in Slayer, or start killing each other in Team Slayer? I know I haven't, but for some reason, 343 has decided that breaks immersion and that they need to tell us a reason for why we have to kill each other in multiplayer. For those of you that don't know, essentially there is a new battle of cruiser called the Infinity, and there's a red team and a blue team. There you go. That's your reason for fighting each other. I don't see how this is really different from the previous iterations where it was just, kill each other. But hey, if 343 wants to give us this bit of story to go along with our multiplayer experience, I'm fine with it. I always, like I said before, I've always enjoyed the Halo story, even if it's not directly part of the main story. Jumping back a bit, I spoke a bit about some of the pre-order bonuses that you might get for buying pre-ordered copies of Halo 4. Now, whether this is for individual retailers is not really known yet, but what is known is that if you buy the limited edition of Halo 4, you'll get, just like previously in other Halo games, the ability to buy, or rather download, the 3 map packs that are eventually going to come out. This is really reminiscent of the Heroic, Legendary, Mythic map packs from Halo 3. Hopefully they'll even do what they did with the Heroic map pack in Halo 3, is make it available for free after a certain amount of time has passed. Though if they do, it's most likely not going to be on the 7th of July, which is, for those of you that don't know, Bungie Day. Once again, 7-7, Bungie loves 7. But it'll probably be some other day when it's released. But still, here's hoping. And if they don't do that, what they could do is just go the Halo Reach route, is include a map that's very, very customizable, like Forge World was, and see what kind of community maps people come up with. I mean, sure, a lot of them would just be remakes. Personally, I would love to play a remake of Hang 'em High. Or Guardian. I could play those maps every single match of multiplayer I do play in Halo. I find them really, really fun. But yeah, hopefully, people just make really good community maps and they'll put them into a playlist. Either that or we can just play Grab Bag all the time, which, hey, wouldn't really be that bad. I always like Grab Bag. But I'm looking forward to pretty much everything about this game. I'm looking forward to playing the multiplayer with my friends. I'm looking forward to playing the story and just immersing myself in it. I'm even looking forward to the fantastic music that comes along with Halo games. Like, Martin O'Donnell is just a phenomenal composer. Along the lines of Jonathan Colton, though you can't really compare the two. It's your apples and oranges kind of thing. They're both just really good composers. I can't wait for the day this comes out. I'm going to be right there, day of release, because hey, I don't have to vote. I don't live in the States, which means one thing: November 6th is going to be Halo Day, and I can't wait. Now, before I go, I do want to take a quick second to mention that our website, goatea.com, GOATEA.com, is up and fully functional. We got a great forums that hopefully you might want to drop by. There are suggestions for future videos if you'd like, or you can just send Sean or I an email. My email is Silviu, SILVIU @goatea.com, and Sean's is Sean, SEAN goatee.com. Feel free to send either of us suggestions for any videos that you'd like to see. We always enjoy reading them and like getting feedback from our community. And if you really don't fancy that, you can always follow us at goatee_prod on Twitter, where you can be notified of all our future videos or any announcements we have. So I'm Sylvie from Goatee Productions, and this has been Halo 4. I'll see you all next time.